Hello everyone, my name is Carmen Padron from Atos Research and Innovation. I'm part of the EMA team and I'm welcoming you to this new edition of the EMA web seminars that are devoted to the potential institutions that they will be willing to take part of this initiative. This webinar, Tracking and Monitoring Learners in MOOC, Learning Analytics as Guide to what is actually happening in the MOOCs, will give you an overview of the active and passive analytic tools that they are currently offered by EMA that will allow you to check on your learners' profile, expectations, their behavior, but also on their performance working in the MOOCs available in EMA. Let me shortly introduce you to EMA. EMA is a 30-month experimental piloting experience funded by the European Commission under the CIP program, and is a platform that offers MOOCs from different European institutions with diverse teaching methodologies and learning design, and it has a strong support on the multilingual translation and transcription, but also on evaluation and monitoring tools. Currently, EMA has around 20 MOOCs already hosted in the platform, and here you can see the access to the platform, and you can also contact us through the different social web platforms. So before giving the floor to the presenters, let me explain how the webinar will work. Today we have two speakers, Chiara Ferrari from Ipsos, Italy, and Kairit from Tallinn University in Estonia. And we organized the session in two thematic blocks. They will introduce us and present us the two thematic blocks, and after we will have a questions and answer round that will be monitored by me. I kindly ask to all participants to introduce themselves in the chat box that in the bottom of the spread window, and to provide at your earliest convenience your questions. So we will be gathering them in order to prepare the last part of this interaction. So without further delays, I give the floor to Chiara Ferrari from Ipsos to start her presentation.
Hello everybody. I hope everybody can hear me well, because I know that you don't see me well because I have big windows behind me in my office, and unfortunately a lot of light is coming in from there. First of all, thank you for taking the time to participate in this webinar, and we hope we can give you the highlights of what we are collecting via the social service and the learning analytics, and how you can use this data for making the best of your MOOCs. So let's start from the social service. What we do is a bit of flow of what we are doing. People entering the EMA world are asked to register via a registration form, which is on the EMA server, and then people move from there as soon as they are registered to the invitation to compile a questionnaire on their expectation of what the EMA is offering to the registrants and to the MOOC participants. What do we collect at this stage? We collect, of course, general profiling questions such as gender, age, employment status, education, and so on. And this is collected by the form that you can see on the right side of the slide. And this is quite quick and quite rapid in completion and also very simple. But then for the rest of the navigation, we have this red toolbar which appears constantly as a reminder for the students to complete the expectation questionnaire. Why we have decided to do it in this way? Because we know that not all the people entering EMMA would be happy to complete a questionnaire, and so I would like to start our discussion by asking you about your experience in completing questionnaires. So if Alberto can send the small poll we decided to submit, and I ask you to vote here. So if you have been involved in an opinion poll, be it by being stopped in the street by an interviewer, or by being called on your telephone, mobile or a landline telephone by someone from an agency like Ipsos, or even online. So a few seconds to complete this, and then if we can close this, if for all of you who have experienced the opinion polling, I would like to ask you another question, which is this one. Oh, all of you have been interviewed at least once. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So, how was your experience? There's another small question for you. And I'll count to 10, let's say, and then ask Alberto to show the results. Okay, we can close it and see. Oh, that's another interesting distribution of the results, because there's 4 people, like almost 1/3 of you, who found this really boring. Well, this is interesting because actually that is one of the doubts we had as a consortium about asking people to complete too many questionnaires and to answer too many questions about their experience in EMMA. So what we have is this bar, this red bar, which you see, and which is inviting people. It's in red, so the invitation is quite a strong invitation to take part. For the time being, we've seen that many of our students have completed the research. And so we can show you what kind of data we have collected, because in the expectation questionnaire, these are some of the questions we ask. So some of them have to do with their intentions in EMMA, and some of them are about our curiosity about EMMA, so we want to know how they heard about EMMA, but we also want to know if this is their first experience in a MOOC, and what type of experience they have collected in the past, be it with a MOOC or with distance learning in other cases. And so I can show you some of the results, just an example of the results we have collected, and it's about, for example, profile of our learners in terms of gender, of age distribution, of type of education, and of occupation, where, for example, you see that in the first batch of questionnaires we have collected, we had more women than men, and the interesting thing is the graph on the right bottom side of the slide, where more or less 1/2 of our respondents were full-time workers, so people experiencing lifelong education. Another example of how we can use this data is about the previous e-learning experience, which, as you can see here, was really satisfying for most of the students who answered our questionnaires, which means that they enter EMMA with some enthusiasm and with a lot of interest because of their previous interesting experience. And also, for example, we asked them about the reasons for visiting EMMA and for registering into EMMA, and there you can see that curiosity and experience were the two main areas. So people were coming to EMMA just to browse the offer and see if there was something fit for their needs, but also with the intention of gaining specific experience on subjects or on topics they were interested in. So let's go on with another tool we offer, which is the mini questionnaire. And here, for those of you who intend to be teachers or tutors in a MOOC, this is an interesting experience because you are personally called to interact with us and with the platform, because you will be the ones to enter the questionnaire as an unit in your course. You are free to do this in terms of time. We have, of course, recommendations, which is to guide you to submit this questionnaire, which is about the single MOOC experience, and which will show you, if you want, of course, how to make the best of your course in the repetitions, so in the next rounds of the MOOCs, based on the experience of your students with the first MOOC you are submitting. So you offer it as a single unit, so you decide when and where you can submit it, and then you will show it in your course, and it is very recommended that you write a text supporting the importance of filling in this questionnaire, because it helps people who are working on the MOOC to make the best of it, and to maybe adjust some of the aspects of the features of the MOOC for future users. So this is a very important part, and it's a part where you are strongly invited to support the usage of the survey. At the end of the survey, your students will be redirected to the same unit, so the questionnaire experience is totally inserted in the flow of your MOOC, and it will not disrupt your flow of teaching, and they will get a message of completion. I have here an example for you, which is about one of the MOOCs we have conducted, and the type of report you can get from this mini questionnaire session. So you will get a real report which we will send you after analyzing all the data, which is about the experience of your students with this MOOC and about all the functionalities and features of the MOOC which you will choose to adopt during your course. For example, I'm sorry, this is not a very big slide. There are several variables here which we have submitted. So we collect on a scale from like to dislike their impression of the students about the course in general, and then all the materials and features like audiovisual materials, interactions with the other students, about interaction with teachers and tutors and so on, and we send you back all the data which you can browse and reflect upon. Another type of data that you can look at is about, for example, the translation functionality, which is a key feature of the EMA offer, which means that your course should normally be offered both in your native language, in the language for which it was developed, and also in another language that for the moment is mainly in English. So here you can see that people participating in this course of the OUNL University decided to follow the English version for one half, and then for a part in Dutch, and also there were some people who decided to follow the course in the two languages. Probably this is Dutch people wanting to like practice their English. So this is another type of result which we offer. And as well as, for example, if you have tasks and assignment which you have submitted during your course, you can have a feedback also on those, like if the people liked the experience, if they found the tasks and assignment too time consuming, or vice versa, engaging and interesting and motivating, and so on. And this will allow you to balance your course in terms of the various components. Finally, what we found very interesting also, and here's again is one example of what we have delivered, are the totally verbatim observations and comments coming from the participants, the reading of which is quite interesting because it gives you qualitative side to the interpretation of the data. What we require from you is the following: contribution to the pilot development with your point of view, which is a general point of view, like what are your impressions, the main highlights, the main insights you have taken from the data, and also if there's something you would do differently. This is very important for us because, of course, we are not trying to discover if one pedagogical approach is better than another approach, but we want to come out of this EMA experience with some indications, policy indications for what are the best practices in terms of MOOC designing. To close my presentation, I have just a couple of slides on what we call the exit questionnaire, which is something which has been very useful for us. Again, it is not a compulsive task we ask to students. It is automatically embedded into each slide in all the units of the last lesson of the course you have submitted to your students. This again is an invitation, although the red again is a color which invites strongly people to participate, although again it is not a compulsory task. This is something we have decided to submit as a collection of indications for us for what regards the experience with the EMMA platform as a whole, and to allow us, the consortium, to make the platform always growingly better for the users. So, for example, here's one of the results we had from the beginning about the EMMA platform as a general experience, and these are the phrases which we submitted. As you can see, we had some problems with the self-explaining side of the platform, which invited the consortium to revise and review the layout of the platform. So for those of you who had the chance to visit EMMA before probably May of last year, you can easily remember that the look and feel of the platform and the way it was constructed was quite different from what it is now. This because we took these opinions into consideration and decided to change some of the features. Another interesting data which we collected is about, of course, the evaluation of the experience as a whole, but also what the people navigating EMMA and taking MOOCs in EMMA were looking for the future, because as you can imagine, at the beginning we had a smaller of topics and themes for our MOOCs, and now we have an interesting variety of MOOCs, but again we know that from this that people expect to have more variety, and also we know on which are the weight of the various themes they would like to find in EMMA. So of course you will have this presentation to download at the end of our chat, so you can look at this distribution, and maybe you can take some of the ideas to develop one of your next MOOCs from here, based on the interest of our students. So I will give the floor to my colleague Kairit Tammets for the learning analytics part.
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. Okay. My name is Kairit Tammets and I work in Tallinn University as a senior researcher and the head of the studies in the School of Digital Technologies. And in EMMA project, I am coordinating the development of learning analytics methodology and application. I would also like to ask you something from you in order to understand what is your experience with the learning analytics. So I hope that there will be now a poll for you. Okay. I would like to know what is your experience with learning analytics, and you have now some seconds to answer. And maybe we have now also some results. Okay. We have 7 listeners who have never heard about learning analytics and rest who have some experience. That's interesting. Thank you very much. Okay. So, why do we talk about learning analytics in MOOCs? Because learning analytics allows us to understand how the participants of MOOCs learn, engage with the content and with other participants. It also allows us to understand how MOOC designers, teachers or facilitators can improve their course design and implemented pedagogies. And in EMMA, learning analytics is used as additional evaluation tool next to the survey tools that Chiara was just describing. At the moment, both MOOCs and learning analytics are quite innovative trends in educational settings. And also more and more often learning analytics has been implemented in MOOCs context. Although the focus seems to be more on calculation of dropout rates, prediction of dropout and clustering of the participants based on their online behavior. In EMMA, the main goal for implementing learning analytics was establish the feedback loop between EMMA facilitators and MOOC participants in the form of dashboards, but also through retrospective analysis of data that is not visualized in dashboards. And also one of the aim was to encourage this feedback loop, evidence-based course design and pedagogical interventions. Our methodology is based on following steps or questions. That first we need to identify what are the research questions and what are the goals, what we would like to find out. And here we involved all our MOOC providers and we wanted to know what is the information and what is the data they would like to have and what do they need as a feedback. Next was we need to identify what data is needed to answer the research questions. And after that we figured out how this data can be collected from the system. Next we worked with the meaningful visualizations in different iterations. And here again also MOOC providers' support and feedback was valuable for our development team. Then we aimed to design the workflow for establishing this feedback loop, which was one of the challenging issues. One form of loop was dashboard, but probably there should be something else. And then it is needed to evaluate the whole process and make the improvements in the process where needed. Learning analytics application in EMMA consists of following components. First, we have tracking tool, which tracks the data that we need. Then we have learning record store, which is used for storing the learning experiences in the form of experience API statements. And we are using learning locker as the learning record store. And the data in this learning record store is used for visualizations in EMMA platform. And dashboard is the third component that is developed, that has been developed for the visualization of the learning interactions for the MOOC participants. This is the figure that illustrates the technical architecture of our EMMA learning analytics applications, and you can see here how the data is exchanged between different components. We have here tracking system, which sends data to learning locker, and this data has been used for developing dashboard, and this dashboard sends data back to students and MOOC participants, learners and facilitators. Learning analytics dashboards are usually used for visualizing learning analytics results, including progress of the learners and overview of course activities, performance of the individual learners, social structure, study modes in the course context, and also recommendation systems are part of the dashboards. Same time, I would like to stress that we have lack of empirical evidence of use of learning analytics dashboards and what practices are influenced by using those visualizations in teaching and learning. In EMA, we have two types of dashboards for the learners and for the MOOC facilitators or teachers. Learner's dashboard visualizes learners' progress, which is estimated based on the accessed materials in different lessons and units, and also the submissions of assignments. Then overview of learning resources or materials that MOOC participants have accessed. Then social network analysis, which is based on the comments and posts in different functionalities, like there's a conversation functionality, and this has been used for social network analysis. Then we have activity stream and overview of the enrolled participants in that certain course. Here you can see the learner. Here learner can see how many units he have visited. If there is like, I don't know, 6 lessons and 18 units, then you can see how many of them you have accessed and what is the average score of the assignments that you have submitted. Here's the overview of the progress. In green, there are these are units, lessons, and here are the units. And you can see that in green that you have accessed all the units in that lesson and also submitted all the assignments. And if your score is a little bit too low, then it's marked as red. We thought a lot if we will provide the possibility for the student to compare your average results with the average MOOC learner's results. At the moment it is in the system, but it's a little bit hidden. Here you can see that if I had 6 units out of 18 visited, then average student has it only 2, and when my average was before 71, then here it is 79. And you can see here how many posts or submission comments other students have done in that course. Facilitator overview Facilitator view has also some same views as a student. For instance, social network analysis and activity stream, and also enrolled users. But facilitator can have more depth overview what is happening in different lessons. And this is like aggregated view of the users. It is not possible to see what individual users are doing, because in MOOCs there could thousands and thousands of users, but then the individual view does not make sense probably in the MOOC context. And this is now the main page of the facilitator dashboard. And it counts the interactions. Here are the interactions in different lessons, and here's the time spent on those activities. This is the main view, what is happening in your course. This is the social network analysis, which I said is based on the posts and comments. These are people, and lines are then connections, and those spots are not probably commenting anything in that course contexts. And the next view, this is now when this one was more like overview. Then if you zoom in, then you can go, for instance, to see how many students have visited assignments or viewed the assignments and how many of them have then really accessed. And here you can see the number and percentage of the user who have accessed the assignments. Here is the activity stream. I can understand it doesn't look very good at the moment, maybe a little bit small, but this is the experience API-based statements on different activities. Okay. But as I said before, then in addition to the dashboard, we also do some additional analysis for evaluation purposes. We have also clustered our participants, and based on the interactions, we cluster them as only enrolled users, observers, contributors, or active participants. We are doing more in-depth analysis of the usage of the course content, and if MOOC providers have some additional inquiries, then we will do our best to extract the data and analyze it accordingly. And this could be then specific. If someone wants some specific things, then we can do it. Here is the overview of 2 Tallinn University MOOCs participant clusters, and you can see that a third of our participants remained in both MOOCs just as enrolled. But in one MOOC we had significantly more contributors than in other one. And as I know those scores, then I can say that other MOOC was using more social media, Flickr and Instagram, and we can't track those activities. So that's why we have less interactions in EMMA platform. And what we will do next? I consider very important to analyze what happens after using the dashboards, how teaching practices and course designs change after using dashboards. Next, I think that combining the learning analytics data and data that we are collecting with the surveys is important. And also, I find that our evidence or data-based approach should contribute to the definition of European MOOC model, which is one of the aims of our EMMA project. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you both presenters. And now we will pass to the round of questions and answers. We have not many of them, but we have some of them. So let's start with the very first one. It's from Laura Di Stefano, and I think that is more related to the first part of the topics covered. But okay, it says that in order to maximize the outcome, how long should be a single course? How many days per week? I guess that this is based on the information we are gathering.
Well, to be honest, then this is really good question, and I think that this is something that we should figure out soon. But we haven't thought about it yet, and I don't have answer at the moment. I can only say my personal experience or what I can see that happened in our MOOC, but I can't say that this is the official answer. I think that at least 1 day per week, for sure.
Okay. Next question is from Benjamin Hurst, and is what LMS, learning management system, is EMMA using?
Well, I'm pretty sure that some of our participants can answer here better. We have some EMMA team members here as well. I'm not sure what is like under the EMMA platform.
Actually, it's a custom-made learning management system that is based on the Federica system from UNINA. Benjamin, does that answer satisfy your questions? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it says yes. Okay. Okay. The next question is from Annette, and is: how much interaction can you conclude there has been between the participants from the social network analysis?
Maybe you can somehow expand the questions or question. I'm at the moment not sure what I have to now say. Maybe you, Carmen, can open this question for me.
Okay. What I think is that they are trying to see if there is kind of when we present the social network analysis, that how is the interaction, if we can manage to show that there is interaction between the participants. I think that in the social network analysis view, you show that which are the relations between the different participants. So to some extent, you can see that there has been more interaction between some participants or others, but also depends on the type of the design of the MOOC.
This one.
Okay. Yeah, this one. Yeah, and she's commenting on the chat box that it was a concrete questions to one of the slides showing the social network analysis. Yeah, to this one.
Yeah, this. Well, we have like really different visualizations coming from EMA MOOCs. That we have those one directional, that we can estimate that there is a communication between teacher and students, and teacher is the main contributor there. It was like in our MOOCs where I was in the central, and then we have some of the MOOCs where we can see a lot of interactions between the participants, and it is kind of a challenge to understand who is the facilitator, because participants seem to be active. So these are like different pedagogies behind. I can see it in different MOOCs.
Yeah. Annette, this answer gives you what you expect? In one link, could you please elaborate on your questions? Anka? Okay, this is another question. Sorry, I will put it in the list, and now I will address the other one. The next one is that, do you have an overall dashboard that collects all information in one overview?
No.
You had the tabs.
No. Yeah, we don't have it. Because it's kind of impossible to put everything together to one page, and it makes the dashboard kind of slow. Then we have to like estimate how to develop dashboard that it's not becoming too slow if there's too much information. And I'm not sure if it's reasonable to put everything together to one page.
Yeah, just to comment over what Kairit had answered, that yes, that having all the information together will be like a kind of cucumber sum to show it, and second, that it will be very slow, the dashboard, and the solution we follow was that to use different tabs to show the different information, so you can have not the overview concentrated in just one page, but in the page you will have different tabs that will show you the different views of the information. And then the last questions we have is, can we get a summary from EMA Analytics Online?
What do you mean by EMA Analytics Online?
Yes, okay. I was going to ask this that what exactly, Anka, what exactly you mean by a summary of the analytics?
Just one presentation.
Okay, we have a higher overview.
Okay, do you mean that the separate presentation about only learning analytics? Because at the moment probably those two presentations will be together. Yeah, probably it will be possible if it's needed. Okay.
Okay, and another question from Zach Wolfried is looking forward. Where do you think that we may be with MOOCs analytics in 5 years time?
I'm not gonna go there because I have no idea. 5 years ago I didn't know that there's even some kind of analytics, and 2 years ago I didn't know that we can do such I think quite good dashboard to MO platform, so I'm not gonna go there. I don't know what happens in 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
If I may say something
yes, of course.
About this, what I have no experience in learning analytics, of course, but what we imagine as regarding analytics and MOOCs is what we hope they will contribute is by being able to make some kind of, reasonable order in the huge mass of data. This is really big data, not the kind of data I'm collecting, totally different capacity, totally different domain. So by making some order in this big mass of data, we hope that what the analytics will teach us is how to take the best out of MOOCs and how to present them to the educational community as one of the main tools for educating people all around the world, and how to fund them, because what analytics will do is give an idea of how important distance learning is and how much it will be worth funding from institutions and governments and so on. That should be our hope for the role of analytics. I'm not sure if I've answered at least one part of the question.
Yeah, it does.
Because technically I cannot say where we will be.
Okay, technically it's very difficult to foresee how the dashboards will evolve, and but what is clear is that those are very important tools that will allow us to make a follow-up of what we are doing, how we are doing, the performance of the participants, and they give us the tools to try to improve the process, even to fund, as you commented, to realize that there are which kind of fundings will be needed, and it is worth it to have such funding. Okay, so we have another question. While we were talking, another question pops. Is from Anton B, and is: how detailed do you measure the time required by individual users for lectures, tests, questions? That would be an interesting performance.
We are aimed to do it as detailed as possible. We just discovered it last week that it wasn't specific enough, and now 1 second is the number that how to say it is. I think it's really detailed, and it couldn't be any better now. It wasn't before, but now it should be.
Okay, Anton, this answered your question? not getting feedback from him. Oh yes, okay, yes, thank you. So there is another question? It seems that no. Okay, I get many thanks. Thanks to all of you for the questions and to the speakers for the answers. So let's close the webinar. So I want first of all to thank you all of you for participating in the webinar. That first of all, if you are interested in hosting MOOCs in EMMA, in the chat box we had provided information about how to get involved with EMMA. The next is that we have a new EMMA run of MOOCs available in the next weeks. Actually, in the next 2 weeks, they will be available new MOOCs. That also, this web webinar was part of a series of webinars that we have already programmed 2 of them for the next month. Here you have their titles, and one is about translation and transcription, and the other one is about the design of the MOOCs. And last but not least, I kindly ask you to keep in touch with us through our social media channels, and if you have any comments or questions, you can use the info@European MOOCs EU to address us, and we will be glad to give you an answer as soon as possible. So with this, I thank again everyone for their participation, and to the speakers for their availability and their great presentations. So thank you very much to everyone, and with this we close it.
Thank you everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.